What do we got today? We got ourselves team 1 together with Ravender as a BM hunter with Kinvi as what looks like a feral with flexing as a survival, Valorip as a ret, and Peachy as a boomy. Are you still staying as a Necrolord boomy? Has that been successful so far, my man? Necrolord Boomkin, dude. Fearlord X, otherwise known as Boom, on the other team with Chicago as our Retribution Paladin. Interesting. Zuluan as another Shadow Priest with Samuel the Windwalker. In the back, we got ourselves 1K. Wait, is that one the Warlock? Is that one the Warlock? As a monk? Yo, gonna be Ravender with big damage onto Samuel. Get him to about half a health. Trinket and Void. Elf Racial coming out right after to get out of that CC chain. Big damage out of Samuel, the Ravender, having to pop every defensive able except for Turtle Shell, trying to heal through the damage Samuel got going on. Ring of Boopity Bob gonna drop down. The monk does have the port set up ahead of time, trying to be a step ahead of Ravender. One of the images does get trapped in freezing trap. Samuel just go for in cap, trying to do whatever he can versus Ravender. In terms of the damage he can output, good karma as the kill shots are coming out. But Samuel is still in that deadly spot. Could be really bad for him. Ravender with the kill shots. Oh, Retina Dome splitting that skull open. And Ravender taking him out very quickly. Instant turtle as Chicago is making their approach towards the hunter. Immediate trinket for that freezing trap. And Ravender actually kept himself in the camo. Wait, almost sitting in that camo for a while. Needs to get away from Chicago before the Hammer of Justice comes down. Gonna drop down the Carrion Arrow, the resonating shot, as Chicago is still trucking the way towards Ravender. Cannot really catch up as the slows are impacting his mobility quite heavily. Hand of Freedom should let him close the gap a little bit. And as long as Ravender has someone for this next Hammer of Justice, he might be okay. Bubble coming in for Chicago. Ravender got himself a little bit of a heal. Hodge onto Ravender. Does he have anything? I think Chicago might just have him here with wings available. Bubble up and active. Is Ravender going to survive the stun onto Chicago? Actually still alive and kicking. With a binding shot after. Wait, do you actually live this? If you actually survive this, I'll be impressed. As Ravender has no health at all. Chicago just needs to throw one judgment and that's over. Ravender, line of sight is your best friend right now. Freezing trap maybe? Actually drop down a trap. Not really sure where it was. Feign death for a second. Shield up, but I think Ravender is going to go down with not a lot left at the end. That's going to be blessing protection immediately. As Ken is going to be up next. Next to Ken in this duel. Let me get the choose mix rolling. Do the good old mix that we are used to, boys. Put her in a bit of a shuffle, as that is going to be Carrion Burst out of Kin. Is that what I saw? Is that what I thought I saw? Chicago trying to make some damage happen. Thorns up on the Feral. Trying to deal with the damage output is going on here. Should be able to do plenty with Ward of Glory spam. Cyclone trying to come out, and looks like they had a freedom. Trying to bust through it into a Convoke. Did he juke out a kick out of him? I think he did juke a kick. Oh my god, is that what he was trying to do this whole time? Trying to see if he could maybe juke a kick from that Cyclone into a Convoke, and you can't stop unless you have a Hammer of Justice. Zulan not in a great position right now as the Feral leaping right on. Wait, what is that? What is that juke with the Feral? He dropped him down into Ursol's. The guy got going back, and then you leap as he's dropping down. I guess to refresh your bleeds. Ken just got himself plenty of that mobility rolling. Zulan does have a big haze ball with the PI. Big mind games onto Ken. And Doorway of Shadows trying to get a bit of a setup. Ken waiting to get himself a bit of healing after the mind games is over. Bark Skin available. Zulon is going to take a bit of damage into a Fear. Breaking it out of that maim with a Trinket though. So that is a Trinket committed. Will not have it for future uses. And Zulon should have some dots rolling into Ken. Doesn't have the Feral the opener with a Rake Stun, but still going to be a lot of damage out of the cat either way. Go for that line of sight. Actually going for a root on the Shadow Fiend too. Not something you see Druids really go for all that often, but it's not a terrible idea. I mean, the thing is going to do some free damage, so you're just denying the free damage. Bash to the Zula on his skin. It's going to go for a bit of a reset, not really committing with the damage. And it looks like he is not Kieran. For some reason, I thought it was Kieran in the beginning, but I mean, the Convoke kind of gave it away, right? If he can go for a Shadow Interrupt on the Zulon with a big Convoke, big damage, he might actually be able to do something there. But Zulon keeping the dots on and not going to be able to have an easy approach unless he just charges that. The Shadow Priest looks like there he goes. Stunned by Zulon with a mind game. Skin is going to have to be very careful if he wants to go aggressive or defensive. Going for a bit of claw. and does burn the damage through the mind games to get himself that emergency heal rolling. If you can go for a big skull bash, maybe big damage to Zulon. He did have used Greater Fade there. Next, Shadow Interrupt could actually be massive, as Kin is trying to go for a bit of a reset. Zulon got in a good position so far. Door of Shadows is going to be able to reposition, keeping Kin in combat, not let him catch a reset. Next, Shadow Interrupt could be huge for Kin though. Is he going to go for big damage here? Big bites, but no Convoke just yet. Void Eruption for Zulon, and it looks like Kin is going to have to go for a bit of a reset. Trying to go, maybe get himself a Restealth. Restealth Opener, Rake Stone would actually be kind of nice. Would go for the bigger bleed option. But Zulon making sure he's keeping a distance. Intro and Interrupt, Convoke coming down. Big damage as expected. Big Disperse trying to live through it. That's exactly what we were expecting here on this channel, boys. Kin tried to go for the big setup, but the Disperse came in a little bit earlier than expected. Tricky coming out for Kin, trying to end this duel ASAP as Zulon gets himself a PI active. And Kin is going to go for a reset as the mind games come out. Zulon has plenty of self-sustain for now. With short cooldowns for his Greater Fade, trick it back up right now, so it's going to be a nice defensive to work with, or CC breaker to work with. But short Greater Fade, short Disperse with a 1.5 minute CD, as well as a fairly short Vampiric Embrace, doesn't mean that the Shadow Priest, as long as they play right, can be actually quite durable. They are clothy, so they take a lot of damage, but they can heal through a lot of damage too. Those Shadowmans, dude. I mean, look, he just stopped himself off from dots. We only are at 7% dampening, so it's not super high or anything. Kin going for the double bite onto Zulon, and he's gonna drop down for a second. The Shadow Priest does have the high ground for a moment. Bark's got available for the Druid, and Zulon does jump down after him. No Convoke for a bit, and Kin does have some damage with Tiger's Lust. And I guess as long as he has the bleeds and Brutal Slashes, he's in a good spot. As long as he can get himself a bit of a setup with bites, he always has. Oh! I was thinking Shadow Priest was gonna be okay for a bit. That bite just crit really hard. That bite just crit really hard. What's up, Vicasid? How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a good one, my dude. Fear Lord Egg's gonna be up next. Boom versus a Feral Druid. Does get hit with the Ursals. Can't really go anywhere, so the Feral is 100% going to be able to catch himself a bit of a reset. Fear Lord, though, I believe did get at least a Shadow Lord Pain in there. Next is going to be a Stone Opener setup by Kin. Did go for a Restealth. Mind Games available for Fear Lord. Those bleeds are going to end up healing him instead. Main does come out, but doesn't really do as much. Big damage onto Kin. Does go for the big heal with a Frenzied Regen, though. I think somewhat went into Mind Games, but he did give himself a pretty big heal. Big Convoke as a defensive, trying just to make sure that he is fully healed up and ready to go. Fear Lord going in with a bit of a defensive and offensive PI used just now to give himself some damage, as well as a Vampiric Embrace. Both of those cooldowns are down for now. Trinket's out of the stun, and Kin going in for back-to-back bites. Got himself the big bite potential. Shadow Priest, when I said they're kind of durable, they can heal themselves and they have really good defenses. But you are Calathi, so you will take big hits. You have big heal, but big hits. Stun into Kin before he goes behind the pillar. Mind Games, the Shadow Crash does come out as Kin goes in for that Bark Skin with a wall too. Actually just walled all that damage from Fear Lord. Is he going to be able to get himself a good setup? Big old bite. Fear Lord is A-okay for now. Well, actually, is he A-okay? It's hard to tell. Trinket for Kin. Fear Lord better be careful about not getting interrupted. Maim could maybe be a Disperse here. Does go for a Disperse. As a Cyclo try to come out for Kin. No healing for the Shadow Priest. Big defensives gone for now. And Kin does not get himself a Restealth. So Fear Lord does have opportunity maybe to go for a Greater Fade, maybe for a heal. Trying not to get juke right now. Greater Fade does come out. Does get interrupted on a heal. Got himself a little bit of shields. Does he have any CC whatsoever? Does get himself a stun onto Kin. Perfect opportunity to catch up on a couple of Shadowmans with the Mind Games bash before the Mind Games connects. Does Kin have himself a big old bite to end this? Sounds into Kin for a second. Mind Games almost making a play. Maim does come out as Kin just trying to disrupt the priest as best as possible. One bite as DPs do come in. Bite before the Mind Games comes in. And 1K is the last one left on team 2. With Kin just biting his way through everybody. In potentially 1v4, I think? Maybe, is it? Gonna go for a bit of an honor duel with one another. One great player to another. Is 1K, is that one the Warlock? Just on a Monk? Or is that one's the Demon Hunter on a Monk? Big Convoke, immediate Trinket with a Karma. Actually, not immediate. To be fair, it's a little bit of delayed Trinket Karma, but 1K knew that he had to do something here. Going for the knockback onto Kin with the Ring of Boopity Bop. booping him out of the way. Struggling to switch to the right person. I don't know why. Trying to see if he can maybe AoE the Feral out. Looks like he's not. He is able to. Okay, it looked like he actually caught a resell for a second, but I guess not. And 1K just waiting out for the Feral for the time being. Big old bite by Kin. Got himself big Berserk available, so it's going to be back-to-back bites. Could be lots of damage into a Thorns available. 1K is going to be doing damage to himself through Thorns. That's going to be Kin soul shaping out of the way in order to get away from 1. Does throw him down into an Ursals as well to keep him at bay. And 1 does have to go for a little bit of a reheal. 10 minutes into the duel, 31% dampener. So we are going to see some healing reduction here. So for 1, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to really catch up. Big bites back to back on him. Does he have anything here? Popping a diffuse, actually not diffuse, magic. A dampen harm, trying to dampen some of the damage that Kin got going on, especially since he got such bursty damage. So he could really dampen a lot of the damage from it. Got him some Weapons of War active. Cannot really catch up to the Feral at all though. Does not have Alexio for a little bit. Does try to root him or slow him. But the power shifting from Feral is just going to keep him rolling. Zuen is actually doing quite a bit of damage until he gets hit with a CC. And Kin should be able to get away from the Monk for the time being. Is going to be able to definitely get himself a reset. So 1 does not have a trinket. He is an orc, so 1 sit stuns as long. Try to go for a bit of a dragon's kick in order to get away from Kin. Trinket while wall is available. 1 going for the karma onto Kin. The bleeds have set in. But the healing is not available because he's not playing good karma. So karma isn't able to heal him. Doing quite a lot of damage to Kin though out of nowhere. Can he maybe get a big setup? Not gonna have the leg sweep. Trying to deal with the cyclone for now. In cap onto Kin for a second. Try to keep him combat as best as possible. Is gonna get cloned. I think he had a spear hand strike coming up at the last second, or either the keybind didn't work. That's gonna allow Kin a little bit of a reset either way. 1 does have trinket back up. Does have some CDs back up with 1 set of images. So might be able to do something here. If Kin got big damage going on, this is where 1 is going to have to play very defensively. Thorns available for Kin. Does drop down the ring. And inside of that ring, he should be AOK for a bit. Could go maybe for an interrupt onto Kin. Does him with an cap before he can catch a re-stealth. And should be able to keep him in combat a little bit. Very, very careful with the Thorns as best as he can. Short main by Kin. Trying to go for a regrow. Did not get juked on interrupt. He's trying to see if he might be able to bake an interrupt out of 1. Because if he gets interrupted on a wrong ability, that convoke is going to go through. And as long as you don't have a leg shoot to stop it, or an in-cap to stop it, it's just going to be free. So 1 not trying to go for an interrupt onto a regrow, that's probably not a bad idea. Really not a bad idea at all. Kin does catch himself a reset as we are at the 12-minute mark. 44% dampening. Opening onto 1. He does have an opener for it. Leg sweep immediately for it. And it's going to go for damage of his own with his Zoen. Weapons of War available. Fist of Fury to stop it. Kin for a second. It's going to have himself Usos available. Has a cover coming up soon. Oh, no. If only he pressed that karma in the last second. But that was a high stress situation. And Kin came in with 4. Oh. That's a lot of damies. That is a lot of... Dude, these bites are just out of this world. Actually out of this world.